Don't forget to go to asskicking.com for pound the best home health and beauty fragrance products.
Dante's Boxing, I always watch your videos.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. All right, guys.
Dante's Boxing.
What's going on? All right. I was going to ask you who was going to win, but I don't have to ask now. What's up, y'all? All right, y'all.
Hello.
All right.
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Canelo Alvarez's promoter, Oscar Dela Hoya, he just recently said, if there is no Golovkin fight next, they're looking at Danny Jacobs and Billy Joe Saunders as possible opponents for Canelo Alvarez in September. This is what Oscar Dela Hoya had to say exactly. Look, if the fight is not going to get signed, then I'm going to take to Daniel Jacobs. I'm going to talk to Billy Joe Saunders and take it from there. But my priority is Triple G. That's the bottom line, because Canelo is fighting in September, end quote. So the way Oscar De La Hoya is talking, it looks like we're going to most likely see Canelo versus Golovkin Part 2 in September. And in order for this to happen, this means Golovkin, he's going to have to abandon one of his belts and abandon one of his goals that he's been telling the public, which is he wanted to unify the belts. So now, if he doesn't fight his number one contender, Sergey Derevyanchenko, which they're supposed to be holding a meeting with IBF, that was yesterday, I believe. We're going to find out what's going to happen with that belt. But Golovkin is willing to vacate and lose one of his belts just to get the fight with Canelo Alvarez. Now that doesn't make sense, because if Golovkin really wanted to unify the belts, he could have fought his mandatory in May instead of fighting against Vanes Martirosyan and then fought against Canelo Alvarez. Then he could still chase that dream of becoming a unified, undisputed middleweight champion. But Golovkin is not going to do that because the competition is better than it was before. Like I told you guys before, his mandatories were fighters like Dominic Wade, Willie Monroe, and now his mandatories are fighters like Jermall Charlo, Danny Jacobs, and Sergey Derevyanchenko. I told you guys from the beginning, Canelo and Golovkin, they need each other more than they ever did before, because realistically, these are the only opponents for each other that they really have the best chance of beating and getting some level of respect for beating this opponent, if you guys understand what I mean. In other words, we all know that if Golovkin or Canelo were to go up against fighters like Jermall Charlo, Danny Jacobs, Demetrius Andrade, Derevyanchenko, there's a very good chance that they could lose to one of those guys or all of those guys, right? So the safest bet is to face each other. Now, what doesn't make sense with Canelo's situation is Canelo, okay, we all know the situation when he failed this test for clenbuterol. He got suspended for 6 months. But what I really don't understand with the whole suspension is they suspend him till August, knowing that he's going to fight in September. To me, that makes no sense. That's like suspending a professional football player during the off season and making sure the suspension is lifted before the new season begins. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but we'll see what happens. Once again, guys, once Canelo does fight against Golovkin or vice versa, they're going to have to see the likes of Danny Jacobs, Billy Joe Saunders, Jermall Charlo, Sergey Derevyachenko. They're going to have to fight these guys. They're going to have to fight these guys if they're going to stay in this division, which there's nowhere else for Canelo to go, so I see him staying at 160. Hopefully this is not just talk from Oscar De La Hoya, and they really do have intentions of facing the best competition at the middleweight division. So we'll see in a couple days what happens. We'll see what's going to happen with Gennady Golovkin and his situation with his IBF belt, if he's going to get stripped or not. And we'll see if we'll get an announcement of who Canelo is going to face next. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.